It's the 9th of February 2005, and Dublin is about to host the largest poker tournament ever to be held in Ireland. Soon, 270 players will be arriving at the Gresham, one of Dublin's top hotels, to take part in this sold-out event. Surprisingly, for a tournament of this size, there's no large team of organisers, and the host is not an internet poker brand. Niall is a 20-year-old economics and politics student at Trinity College, Dublin, and tonight is the culmination of 2 months' work.
Everything comes at once. There's been big tournaments before, but this is the most gala event there's been because of the high quality of the hotel, you know. So I think players are really looking forward to it. Premium event in a premium venue. Hello? Yeah. How's it going, Andrew? How's the form? I've heard that it's actually the largest tournament ever in Ireland or the UK, if we get the turnout, which we will because we've sold out all our tickets of 270 people. So at the minute, it's the largest tournament ever held, Texas Hold'em Poker.
Whilst Niall makes poker history at the Gresham, at a nearby pub, 2 of tonight's players have arrived early. Like the rest of the people taking part tonight, they're both students and they're both confident of a win.
I always fancy my chances. Always. I can't sit. There's no point in sitting down at a table without thinking you're going to win.
You have to go in expecting to do fairly well.
You can't sit down at a table going, okay, I'm going to put my money in and I'm going to walk home in last place. You have to expect to be winning. And I'm confident that I will every tournament I start, even if I come last, I'm still confident that I should have won.
Yeah. I've been playing for about probably a year and a bit properly.
So about a year and a half, 2 years myself, properly about 3 years experience now, just playing little games with the family, that kind of thing, but proper money, big money, about a year and a half, 2 years.
Oh, he misses the first one.
Well, I'm going to be in the top 30 at least, I'll guarantee that. And
well, if he's in the top 30, I'll probably win, like. So.
I'm the best player, definitely.
Okay.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I'm the best
Well, he hasn't
player.
got as far as me in physical games, but...
I think I have, actually.
While Cillian and Birdy debate who's the best player, back at the Gresham, nearly all of tonight's competitors have arrived. Making up the vast number of players are students from 5 Dublin colleges, all of them eager to get their hands on the €6,500 prize fund. One of Trinity College's best players, Andy Wall, a former professional croupier, has just arrived.
My tactics this evening, well, to win, to bluff people, to try and confuse people. So playing very tight and then all of a sudden play hard on a hand and just try and bluff them out of it, you know. It just depends on what the table's like.
It's nice to see so many girls here tonight. If anyone's really bursting to go to the jacks, right, you're better off going into the girls because there'll be no queue in there, you'll be grand. No limit Texas Hold'em. Blinds are starting as 25 and 50. They'll be raised every half hour for the first hour, every 20 minutes after that. Right, the stacks are whites are 25, reds are 100, blues are 500, so you've got 1,500. There will be rebuys for the first hour, limited to 3, so it's €20 for a rebuy of 1,500. And then it is €20 at the end of that hour for a top-up of 2,000. Lads, if you want a rebuy, just stay in your seat and put up your hand, because it'll be messy if everyone starts moving around. So just stay in your seat for rebuys and put up your hand and someone will come around to you.
Trinity isn't the only poker society to be hosting a tournament tonight. Back in the UK, hundreds of students are preparing for a night of poker. From the largest tournament in Ireland to the smallest in England. With just 20 regular players, Surrey University is one of the smallest societies in the UK. As the students prepare for their regular home game, Society President Ghaharian believes his playing style will clinch him victory.
I've got a very tight style to play. I wait for the hands and I play them. I like to think I play them aggressively. And I try not to make the wrong moves. I try my hardest to make the right moves the whole time with the hands I've got, and I don't play trash.
Established in 2000, Warick University has one of the oldest poker societies in the UK. Tonight will be one of their largest events of the year, with over 70 students taking part. Accounts and finance student Scott O'Reilly considers himself to be the best student poker player in the country.
I won't be worried about anyone tonight because the rule in poker is if you don't believe yourself to be the best player at the table, then don't sit down. There's no point in sitting down if you're not going to be the best player at the table. To win a proper poker game, fair enough if you're in a home game or you're just having a laugh, but if you want to be a serious poker player, you've got to know you're the best player at that table.
At St Andrews in Scotland, 70 students have paid £20 each to take part in this inter-university event. French student Christian Harris founded the Poker Society in 2004.
Basically, there was a group of us who'd been playing poker for a while, had a lot of home games, and it got to the stage where we were getting sort of 20, 25 people turning up for a home game on a Friday evening, so we thought, well, we should maybe set up a poker society here. We're paying top 7. Top 9, we're paying top 9, so final table finish and you're in the money. Nils and TC are tournament directors for this evening, so any questions, they're the guys to ask. I think that's everything to say, so have a good game, everyone. Best of luck. Shuffle up and deal, I suppose, is the next thing to say.
The popularity of poker has grown dramatically over the last few years, and now it attracts a wide variety of student players.
From the student pool, I'd say that most of our players probably come from economics and maths, certainly at USAPs anyway, because I think that being a good mathematician makes you being good at pot odds, and then that makes you into a good poker player.
We get maths students, business students, first year, second year, third year, everyone plays. PhD students come. I mean, we got Swedish guy, safety. I mean, Nick, he's like into his grunge music and stuff. Just everyone into anything. I mean, there's no set characteristic of a poker player. They're just all over the place.
Typical student player, scruffy, smelly, very nicely well behaved, and they're extremely concentrated on trying to make their game as good as it possibly can.
Anybody can play. That's the whole point. Anybody can pick up a deck of cards and get lucky, or play with a bit of skill, or read people even, like psychology.
Back in Ireland, the tournament is well underway, and some players have already bust out. After a slow start, Birdy has managed to bluff himself some small pots and is still well and truly in the game. Cillian, on the other hand, is not having a good night and joins the growing number of tournament losers.
I didn't have enough chips left to play, I didn't have enough left to make any proper bluffs or anything like that, so I basically had to stick with the good hands, and the good hands don't always win, so I just kept on losing on them, and then I didn't have enough left to do anything, so I basically had to go in on the best hand I had. Could have done a bit better, I didn't play that well, I wasn't used to probably just this amount of people, and annoyed basically sums it up, probably. I'll probably hit a casino now, but I'm not going to spend much at all, so there you go.
Not everyone takes defeat as graciously as Cillian, as over on table 10, Andy is about to find out.
Yeah, not really. What happened? You had a pocket pair of 7s. If you're getting upset about it, that's fine. It's fine. Do you have enough in next blind? Yeah, just to set it now.
Down to just 300 in chips, his opponent commits the cardinal sin and goes on tilt.
I'm all in. The winner.
Okay, all in for 300. And 600, yes.
There's going to be a lot of dead money tonight, but at the same time, there's going to be a lot of guys out there looking at you. So if after 5 minutes playing, to quote a film, after 5 minutes playing at a table, if you haven't worked out who the dead money is, you are the dead money.
Now busted out and looking for someone other than himself to blame, he decides to verbally abuse Andy.
This man is a terrible poker player. I'm sorry. I don't mean to.
It's a pleasure playing with you. It was a pleasure playing.
You go for half your stack, ace nine, no need to go.
My decision's my decision. I was betting against you having anything, so.
They all think they're going to win. You know, that's gambling. You know, you go in and you believe you're going to win. If you don't believe you're going to win, why play? But these people only believe they're going to win. And when they lose, they get disappointed. They abuse you. They shout at you. They throw things at you.
The game is up. Go home. Ace nine suited, man. I was ahead with jacks in the hole.
You had seven. You had seven.
In Surrey, the home game is now well underway. Kaz is low on chips and decides to make a move.
Top one. Oh, caller. Fold right away.
If I'd have to rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give myself 7, maybe an 8. And I think with experience I could be higher. I think that's all I'm lacking at the moment, is experience.
All scared out Luke.
With his original bet called, it's time to put up or shut up. Kaz raises all in.
Kaz moves it in for another 15. 17 total.
The move works and players start to fold around the table. Kaz collects the pot without revealing his cards.
You're not going to win if you don't think you can win. You can't go to the table thinking, oh, these guys are better than me or whatever, because you'll just get intimidated. You've got to think like, oh, I can beat every guy at the table, I'm better than every guy at the table. And then with that mind frame, you can do anything.
Really change your game.
After winning a big hand, Kaz's thoughts turn to becoming a professional poker player.
I know how to win this week.
I think if I become pro, Ray-Ban will sponsor me.
No. Everyone?
Why not?
Retake, ask the question again.
I think if I become a pro, Ray-Ban will sponsor me.
Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm good enough, aren't I?
Yeah.
In Warick, their own semi-pro, Scott O'Reilly, has raised the pot and one caller has gone all in.
Nines against sister, sixes against 5. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I got bad beaten again. Pocket 9s versus 6s and 5s. 5s managed to make a wheel. Runner, middle pin. But you know, it will still battle on. I've still got chips. However, I should be on final table already, practically.
Minutes later, Scott is heads up against the same player, and this time he's got a score to settle.
I don't understand it right. You sit here, you got f***ing pocket 5s, all in. And you beat me.
I guess you're meant to understand.
Get the bad bits off your head.
That's the 8. Where's another?
On your backs.
Hang on, wait, he hasn't called the reader.
You calling this, I'm sure.
5, 6.
660.
660.
I'm sure he's folding.
Put him down. Don't even make me watch. F***ing take again.
It's an 8.
You put it there, mate, I'll f***ing slap you.
Now.
Oh, I've got more than chips, mate. I've got plenty. I just lent them to him so he could pay a few blinds.
For students like Scott, poker is clearly more than just a game, and their passion is infectious.
Nobody steals my big.
It's the vastness of the game. It's 52 bits of card that can change into odds, percentages, and just so many combinations, so many possibilities. And it's not about the cards. It's not the gambling. It is a game of skill. So it's trying to get better at something you enjoy.
I like the gambling aspect of it. I won't lie, I do like gambling. But I like the fact that I'm gambling and I know what my odds are. The odds never change in poker. It's one of the few games where the odds will always be the same. You won't know what other players have, so yes, the odds are different. But when you have got a pair of aces in your hand, you know that from the start you have the best hand. This is before any cards come out, before the flop. But when you've got a pair of aces, a pair of bullets, you know, you're there. You've got the top hand.
In St Andrews, Christian Harris has gone all in and is desperate for his opponent to call.
Goes all in every second hand, just.
Oh yeah, I'm all in all the time. Surprised I'm an all in, yeah. Believe the hype.
It's a Mexican standoff.
I want you to call. But I'll be happy if you fold. Do you want to see what I got? That's why I said I wanted you to call. I'm just glad I got a call at pre-flop. Winning at poker is probably one of the best feelings that I know of, certainly in a live tournament as well, because you bring in the different aspects of psychology and reading people, and it's fantastic if you can pull off a big bluff at the right time or steal blinds at the right time.
When Christian isn't winning students money, he's helping them to set up their own societies through his organisation, ukstudentpoker.com.
Well, in the last couple of years, well, the last year or so, I've set up, obviously, the St Andrews Society. I've helped to set up Dundee, Liverpool, Lancaster, Manchester, Bristol, UCL, Imperial College, where else? Royal Holloway. More as well, I apologise to anyone that I'm forgetting, but...
When I was starting out, I emailed Christian Harris quite a lot, and he actually gave me a lot of info about how to start up, and like he told me like how much you can charge people for membership and stuff like that. So yeah, he was really helpful.
With the growth of things like the UK Student Poker website, which basically provides a forum for us all to discuss what's going on, and the inter-university tournaments that have been run so far, everyone's kind of got to know everyone else, and I think every major university now has a poker society in some form or another.
Back in Dublin, Niall is keeping a watchful eye on the tournament.
Everything's going grand. We're into the fun and frolics and excitement now. It's 9:15, so it's just over an hour past the rebuy and top-up period. Players are flying out. We're down to, I think, just over 100 players now, so we're about halfway there. Everyone seems to be loving it. There's drama, there's people shouting and standing and oh, and all the rest of it. It's great crack. There's a couple of lads out there, a few sharks still hanging in, but hopefully Andy and Birdy can produce the goods for us. You know, I'd really like to see one of the lads win it.
Adam Roach, one of Birdy's latest victims, seems strangely happy to talk about his defeat.
It was kind of simple. I naced in the 5 and the flop came. We were in 200 each. The flop came out and I had a 5 sitting there. Your man has been buying in constantly, so I thought he wasn't much of a player. So I thought, naced in a 5, I have a 5 sitting there on the flop, I'll go with it. Next sale comes in, 300 each. Now we're trying to figure out who's bluffing who, or if we're bluffing each other. And with that, it comes all the way down, and the guy pulls out a 2 pair out of nowhere. You know, generally poker's my game. Nobody bothers me, but today this guy took me for a ride that I've never been taken on. And I felt good about it when I got up, which was an upsetting thing.
Learning to take defeats is one part of poker, but for today's student players, it's all about learning how to win.
There are books available on all sorts of poker, every single style, from different people to Helmuth to Doyle Brunson, Cloutier, everyone.
I've read like Super System and some Dave Sklansky stuff. I do take in what I've read and what I watch on TV and stuff like that, but I do try and put my own thought into it and try and come up with my own game.
These days, the more they play, the more they're learning. So for the first few weeks of term, you got a lot of easy money. But after a few months, they've read a few books, they've checked it on the internet, and they're beginning to get a grip of what the actual odds are in poker.
I think your student poker player, obviously, for one, have got less money, so they have to be a little bit more understanding of their current bankroll. So they have to be a little bit more, base their game more on skill than on luck.
The best way to learn to play is to play online, because you can play for such small stakes, or you can play even for nothing, and you can learn the fundamentals of poker position, pot odds, which are the best starting hands and things like that.
I know that the old pros these days say that young kids coming through can play as many poker hands in a year or 2 years as they took them 20, 30 years to play. So people are learning the game much faster and becoming much better much faster online.
Scott O'Reilly has recently taken a year out of his studies to play poker online. In the last 3 months, he's made over £20,000. He doesn't believe that there's a better student player in the UK.
I've had a discussion with a friend of mine about how many people in the country there are playing student-wise, and who of them could be earning like the amount of money that I do, because it's a very good salary. Personally, I don't really know any better students. I mean, the students in this university that I know are definitely good players and very good players. I mean, but I don't know anyone that I feel is up to my own standard, because I'm winning so consistently every single day.
He's a guy just like you and me, but he plays poker better than you and me probably could ever hope to. He could be the future of the UK poker scene, not just student poker, but poker across the country and across the globe. I think he could compete in any tournament, and I think he could do well.
Back at the Gresham, Birdy also thinks he's onto a winner. He goes all in with pocket aces.
I'm all in for that 3, so pass 3 from that pile and 3 from that pile. Come on, give me something good, please. Anything. Give me a 4. Give me a 4 or a queen.
If anyone else isn't playing, will you? Or you're all in?
Don't give me a queen. Don't give me a queen. Just for me. Just for me.
Yeah, just a guy all in.
Bernie, don't be shooting him. Come, easy. 6.
Game, lads.
Unfortunately, Birdy's aces don't hold up, and he's busted out by trip kings.
Oh, sorry.
Your grave is quicker.
I raised the big pot and I had pocket aces. I got called by ace king and pocket queens and ace jack. Flop came king, nothing, so I was ahead of my aces. The river came king to get him trip kings. The pocket aces are gone. So I only got to play 4 hands in the night until that hand. I only played 4 hands. I got short stacked down to 2,000 chips, run 3 in a row. Just bluffed people, got good hands. Won 3 in a row, got up to 22 grand. Got knocked down to 11 2 blinds with nothing. And then got pocket aces, thought, what the hell, all in. Called by 3 different people, even a re-raise to me, best hand. Came up against ace king, your man had 3 kings. They're good players, but I could have beaten them. Easy.
In Warick, Scott has made the final table. He's joined by David Liu, who is a regular tournament winner. David decides to make a move.
I'm all in. Me too.
His bet is called by Scott and another player. All 3 are now all in.
The best student poker players in the UK that I know of, Scott O'Reilly from Warick, who makes a very, very comfortable living online playing poker. David Liu, also from Warick, who does very well in tournaments and has had some very high finishes.
Focus is good, focus is good. You've done it again.
I only pushed because you pushed, and I knew I was ahead of you. I don't want to bin call it on big blind. Yeah, I'll bounce to lose.
Okay. Can I see your cards, please? Ace king. Ace 8.
You're happy with that?
Come on. Yes! Yes! Good card. Deuce! Yes! Yes! Get down! No one's leaving. Give it to Mungy.
Scott wins with quad 10s, knocking David out of the tournament.
Quads!
He is happy.
Yes. High five.
The blinds were quite big, so I decided to push all in with ace-8 of hearts. Quite a silly move, really, but chips were getting low, and then Scott, of all people, called with pocket 10s. I made my flush, but no match for his quad 10s, unfortunately. Scott should actually win it from here. He's got a lot of chips. I'd be surprised if he doesn't take first prize.
In St Andrews, with the time approaching midnight, Christian has also reached the final table. He's joined by the only 2 girls to enter tonight's tournament. Susie Bogue and Kat Purvis have beaten over 60 male players to get this far, but they still don't feel that girls are respected or encouraged to play.
We have 1 or 2 regular players who are girls, females at our events, and who do quite well. Susan, for example, has had several final table finishes in our society. We get around 40 regular players, so it's sort of 1 in 20, which isn't a very good ratio. The reason why, I'm not really sure. I think poker is a game that should appeal to both males and females, but I think possibly it has a slight image of sort of seedy underground in some senses, which maybe puts off girls.
When I first came here, and I was the only girl the first time, there was about 50 guys, and I just felt so small and like so scared. And I think, I think that's what it is. Basically as the male-female thing.
When you first go into the game, it's quite hard because the guys kind of think, oh, it's a girl, they obviously can't play poker. But they get used to you, and you kind of like just blend in after a while. It's just fun.
Men do definitely underestimate me, like they just like think I'm gonna go all, like I'm really tight. They all think I'm really tight, and I'll only go in with good hands. But that, you know, opens the pathway for me going in with like really bad hands, like 7-2 offsuit, and everyone will fold to me because they assume that I've got, you know, a really good hand. So
they will try and bluff you off pots because they think that you're a girl, so you'll just fold. But I mean, in some ways it works to your advantage because the guys didn't think that you fold, and then if you play aggressive or whatever, then you'll just them over. So.
Female poker players, I've played against a few, and I don't know, they're smart, you know, they're sly. You don't expect them to be good, and when they turn out and they have the nut hand and you think you're doing well, you know, it's a real kick, you know. You realise, you know, don't underestimate them just because they're female.
I'm personally not doing anything to attract women in particular to the game. I just want as many poker players playing as students as I can find. Whether they're men or women makes no real difference to myself.
Women are definitely missing out, like good money opportunities, not playing, like they've got to play poker. It's good to sort of, you know, meet guys in the sense of like make friends, and it's quite a social thing as well. It's good fun.
Back in Surrey, Kaz has gone all in against his best mate Raz. Kaz has ace-king, Raz has king-4. This should be no contest. That is until Raz picks up a 4 on the river.
Oh!
The 4 takes it.
Oh no! I'm sorry, man!
Oh, I'm so sorry, dude. I'm so sorry.
It was a move, man. You shouldn't have called.
I'm sorry. How's 7?
Nodded head for like half an hour.
Ace King. Well, I've always told you about Ace King. It's crap. Overrated.
Ace King 4.
Why'd you call? I could have easily had a pair of kings.
I was good up until the river and a 4 came in the river.
What? Hold on.
What can you do?
So you got busted out by a pair of 4s?
Yeah.
While Kaz has some comfort food, back in Dublin, Andy's enjoying some brain food. He's made it to the top 18 and he's about to get some good news.
18 players left, everyone's premium on in is guaranteed money.
The best news I've heard of. Guaranteed money.
A little later, buoyed by the prospect of free money and down to a short stack, Andy goes all in with Jack Queen suited.
Well, you can take me all in, it's grand. I'm all in for 20.
There we go. On their backs.
The risk doesn't pay off, and he's busted out in 10th place, narrowly missing the final table.
To be honest, my standard wasn't great, but the standard around me wasn't much better. I hope whoever wins it enjoys the money, because if it was in a real tournament, I know I would have been knocked out in the first round, and so would most of the finalists. So to be honest, I played pretty poor, but I don't feel so bad because I wasn't surrounded by great players either, and I'm not bitter. Bitter. Sorry.
Somewhere where the standard of play is expected to be high is London card room The Gut Shot. Home to players young and old, and with regular beginner nights, The Gut Shot is where many students cut their poker teeth.
Very much at The Gut Shot, the poker player is, 21 to 28, 30, young, up-and-coming professional, a bit of spare time, wants to spend a bit of time instead of going to the pictures, wants to come and play poker instead.
Played at the Gut Shot Card Club in London last Thursday. It's supposed to be a £20 shootout, but it turned into a £20 freeze-out because of the popularity of the tournament. About 70 runners managed to get to the final table with about 10,000 chips. You start with 1,000, so 70,000 chips in play. Decided just to sit back and let everyone take themselves out because there are a few loose players at the table. Got to heads up with the one guy, had 10,000 chips, he had 60,000. Managed to double up with a King 7. And then he asked me for a deal to split the first and second prize money, but I actually said no because I felt my chances were pretty good, and ended up winning it. First prize was £476. So yeah.
The standard of student play is very high. You'll find that most of the students that come through the door here haven't got a lot of money to burn on rebuys and cash games and stuff, so they base their overall play on skill, not on luck.
One night and two gents walked in and walked up to the cashier, put their money down, confident as anything. I'd never seen them there before, and I thought, oh, a bit odd. And they walked back past me, and I said to my mate, oh, they look a bit like they might be able to play. And I overheard one of them say to the other one, oh, look at those kids everywhere. We're going to easily beat them. There's going to be a night of easy play. Just like as though we couldn't hear. I turned up at my table, sat down in my seat, and the gent's to my right, and I think, oh, awesome. Now I've got the chance to show him. He doesn't say a word to me all night until the one thing that he says to me, which is, nice hand, and that's as he's leaving the table with no chips.
The Gut Shot isn't the only business looking to attract students. Gaming companies all over the UK are starting to realise that students have the two things they need: time to play and money to play with.
They were going to set up an event in the union with tables, dealers, like free rolls, everything, and teach people how to play and stuff like that. So I think with companies doing that, it's bound to blow.
When I last summer was looking for a sponsor, we had sort of 7 or 8 different companies that were interested in sponsoring us. So it shows that for a student society setting up, there are people interested in helping you out and giving you incentives and extra money and prizes and things.
It's really allowed us to go from strength to strength here at Warick, because we have had for about a year now an affiliate agreement in place where we encourage our members to play in a certain online poker room, and they get money back for doing so. So if they sign up, they get a free sort of £25 or whatever it is, and the society gets rewarded as well.
Students are in a demographic that's attractive to companies because they may not have a lot of money now, but they should do in the future. If they graduate with a good degree, they should move on to be high earners, and any company is interested in attracting high earners as part of their clientele.
Personally, I play in some of the bigger events around the country, and the students haven't got the kind of money to buy into these events. But I'm sure they would cope with it very well if they had some kind of sponsor or backer to actually put them into these tournaments. They've got the nerve, the skill, and all the attributes they would need to be to compete on pretty much every level.
It's 1 a.m. in Warick, and they're down to just 4 players. Scott sees a chance to knock out another 2 players.
And how much is it to me? It's 20. That's not you.
The flop comes. Jack, King, Queen, and both players go all in. The action is now on Scott.
I've got a call. A call.
Of course you have to call. If you're playing for first, definitely.
I got a call. How much was it?
7765. Okay, on your backs.
He's drawing.
Ace queen.
Ace queen.
King 3.
Nothing silly, James. Please.
He has the back to flash as well.
Yes!
Scott wins with a pair of kings.
Sorry, lad.
Lawrence, one of the players he just bust out, sums up the situation.
Myself.
I give him 20 to 1 now.
Knocked out of the tournament, all that's left for the losers to do now is get their coats. In St Andrews, and with his coat already on, Christian is surviving, but barely. He's very short on chips, and when he gets a low pair, he goes all in.
Christian's all in for 35,000.
His opponent, James, must now try to decide whether Christian is bluffing. He decides to call.
I think I might be behind. But...
Christian has a pair of 8s. James has a pair of jacks.
Ah, nice hand. Nice hand. Need another miracle card. Nearly.
Christian's gamble doesn't pay off, and he's out in 7th place. Despite winning £60, he knows he's made a big mistake.
The only thing I change about tonight is not overplaying that pair of 8s at the end. Really, I shouldn't have been involved. I had Queen 8 suited on the small blind against the big stack. I could easily have folded it. I saw a flop, and as soon as I hit the flop, I don't think he's got the ace. So then I'm basically thinking, well, I'm going to try and get all my chips in the middle. I thought he had a pocket pair, but I didn't think it was as high as jacks. I thought it was lower than 8s, and I was wrong. So there you go.
Christian's next challenge will be organising the UK Student Championships in St Andrews. The first national event of its kind, the Student Championship looks set to be the largest poker tournament ever held in the UK. It's attracting interest from students and business alike.
There's going to be 300 players drawn from over 30 universities, and it'll be the largest ever tournament held in the UK. Top 10% of the players will receive prizes, and the winner will also get a trip to the World Poker Tour in Paris in July.
Student poker has become that big 5 years after it sort of barely even existed in just 1 or 2 campuses in tiny little rooms of 20 or 30 people.
2 or 3 weeks ago, they had a tournament in Trinity, and the top 5 people in it got a trip, all expenses paid trip to Scotland for the UK Student Open or something like that. So I'm going over at the start of April to play in that, and that should be one of the best tournaments I've ever played in. Hopefully with the best people as well. Not like this jump.
Everyone wants to be known as the best, and it's a chance to sort of prove yourself as the best player in the UK.
Would I be worried about going heads up with the champion? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. It'd be a great match. I would like to do it, and they adopt some different styles, but you know, bring them on.
However, this won't be the only student championship this year. One internet company are running their own version with a massive £25,000 prize pool.
They run these free weekly tournaments, and they're building up to a big sort of final tournament in London in the summer, which I think is going to be really good for the profile of student poker in the UK, and really sort of hopefully bring together the best players to play for the sort of prize pool that we couldn't imagine putting together.
In Warick, Scott is now heads up with Bryce Paris. David Liu is counting out the prize money.
Second prize is 250 quid, and first prize is 400 quid.
Scott, do you want to deal it or not?
Right, should we take half on the cash and just play for fun?
Play for the points.
Half each, and we play for the
325
points.
each.
So 325 each. Cool.
We'll take the money.
They decide to do a deal and split the cash. Now every hand will be played all in.
Let's check all in. Yeah, all in. We know it.
Guaranteed 2 pair.
Why is my
9?
Bryce takes a win, but they both come out of it with £325 in cash. Not bad for a few hours' work.
We're roughly even on chips. And it's just a case of to finish it now. The blinds are very high. You're only going to you're raising and just getting away with it. So we just take each take half the money, and then have a play around for the final few hands to see who wins.
Yeah.
Like Brees, if it's 8-5 offsuit.
It's all luck at the end. I mean, 2 people left, heads up.
You have the equivalent of maybe 6 or 7 bets each, which means that you can't raise and get away from a hand. So you're never really playing poker. You're just deciding if it's good enough to go all in pre-flop with.
With more and more students like Scott falling in love with the game, the future of poker couldn't be better.
If you look at the whole poker community as like a pyramid, you know, you've obviously got your very top echelons of, you know, buy-ins and top players and stuff. I see students very much at the bottom level, you know, feeding into that pyramid of poker players that is only going to be good for the game and the growth of the game going forward.
The future of poker is looking very bright at the moment. I even heard friends of mine when I was away who wanted to come back to the UK and set up their own poker clubs because it's just such a growing sport. The internet, like a lot of other things, it's increased its position in the world. It's very much out there now, and people are realising it's not like down dark alleys in a small little badly lit room. It can be everywhere. You know, poker rooms, yeah, they're increasing, and the age is dropping as well. And the people who are playing is just changing profile completely at the moment.
I don't think that I'm personally responsible for the increase in student poker in the UK. I'm certainly, I'd like to think that I've helped it along the way, and I've really enjoyed doing it, and it's been a great thing for me to do. But I think that it would have happened anyway. This great increase.
A big inspiration to students thinking of turning pro is the success of James Vogel. Aged just 24, James won the $2,000 no-limit Hold'em event at the 2004 World Series.
What James Vogel did is phenomenal. To go to the World Series straight out of university and to go and win a bracelet which some poker professionals spend their entire life trying to achieve that one goal, to win a bracelet at the World Series.
I mean, I've got a friend who's got a £7,000 bankroll now. I mean, he can afford the buy-in for the main event, and he's made that money in a month. So if he carries on 6 months the way he is now, he can easily afford the main event buy-in, and I don't see why he wouldn't be able to win it if he's got the money. I think it's just getting that $10,000 buy-in, and then everyone's got the same chance as everyone else.
The World Series, well, the tournament I won to go to Scotland, the winner of that will eventually end up at the World Poker Tour in the tournament on in Paris, I think it is, over in France. So if I win that, hopefully I'll be going, and if not, hopefully I can save up someday and actually go myself without having to win my way.
They've got every chance with the skills that they're actually putting now, with all the hands they're seeing online and the tournaments now available to them, and both here at Gutshot and also some of these student events that you see. They've got every chance to make it to the top.
It's 1:30 a.m. and in Surrey, as the eliminated students play a cash game, the tournament has been won by Richard.
Luke came second. Luke's beating everyone in the league.
Over in St Andrews, Kat has managed to beat unbelievable odds and take a well-deserved win against Fraser, proving that good poker players are not exclusively male. Back in Ireland, they finally have a winner. Engineering student William Whelan from University College Dublin.
Well, I've won €1,500 in cash. I've won a ticket to the Victor Chandler UK Student Championship. I've won a ticket to Victor Chandler in Dublin, and I've won some other ticket to the Red Cow poker tournament. Just delighted, to be honest, you know. Best poker win ever. Like this is my first big win, you know. First of many, I hope, you know.
It's gone splendid. Couldn't have gone better. It's gone fantastic. We finished up at bang on 2 o'clock on the 2nd, and that's exactly what we needed to do. Everyone's clearing out now. As you can see, the place is empty, and congratulations to Will, who won in the end. It was a great night had by all. I think everyone has commended the organisation of it. Everything's run smoothly. I couldn't be more pleased. A lot of new faces here today, and I'm sure a lot of them we'll be seeing again. We'll be doing more like this, and I look forward to seeing everyone again. It should be good crack.
Students are proving that they have the skills and the confidence to take on the pros, and anyone who doubts that, beware, because the students are coming.
Yeah, I think professional players should be very worried about students who come out of championships. The students, although they may look naive and stupid, for a lot of the time they're smart. They know exactly what they're doing, and professional players will underrate them, and that they'll find is their biggest problem.
I don't see why I can't beat them or be as good as them just because they've got more experience than me. I think I can bust them up just as easily.
Eventually, I do really want to be a professional poker player. I want to do it for the rest of my life because I love the game and I find it a great way of making money.
If I had a message for professional poker players out there, I would say watch out, because there's going to be a lot of good players coming up who are now students, and they'll be taking you on in a few years.